Yo, what is up guys? Delboy here, aka Blue Collar Sports TV. Hopefully you guys are doing well. Just a quick video summarising the PBC card last night, which showcased two welterweight fights. We'll start with Jarron Ennis versus Thomas Dulorme. Now, I expected Jarron Ennis to make short work of Dulorme. Dulorme's been around for quite some time now. He is experienced. He actually does have some skill, but he's one of those guys who isn't the most durable. He can be knocked out, as we've seen on a few occasions at this point, been dropped multiple times in his career. So going into this one, considering where Dulorme was at, coming off two losses, I expected Ennis to make short work of Dulorme, but nevertheless, doing it in one round is very impressive. Boots Ennis in this fight once again showcased his athletic ability, his hand speed, his accuracy, and his punching power. He knocked down Thomas Dulorme very early on in this fight, and it was actually a really good shot by Jarron Ennis, showcased his athleticism. Basically, what happened was, Thomas Dulorme ducked down, and Jarron Ennis basically followed him. He threw like an anchor right hook. You know how Golovkin would throw the anchor right hook, where he would kind of throw it and throw it down, if that makes sense? He basically did the same thing as Thomas Dulorme was getting low, and he caught Thomas Dulorme on the top of the head, scrambled his brains, and dropped him for the first knockdown. Really good, accurate shot there by Jarron Ennis. Dulorme was definitely hurt, but he did beat the count, and obviously Jarron Ennis, he smelt blood and went for the finish. He let go of his shots. He actually got caught by a counter right hand by Dulorme as he was throwing punches, but that never really affected Jarron Ennis. Ennis then continued to throw his combinations, and the combination which finished Thomas Dulorme was a short left hook, followed by a wide right hook, followed by a straight left hand down the pipe, bang on the chin. It was a very quick, accurate combination. It dropped Thomas Dulorme. Dulorme tried to beat the count. He actually did, I believe, but the referee waved it off because Dulorme was on unsteady legs. And yeah, all in all, this was an impressive knockout win for Jarron Ennis, no doubt about it. He looked quick, he looked powerful, and in my opinion, Jarron Ennis is a problem in the welterweight division. The guy's got great size for the welterweight division. He's extremely athletic, he's quick, he hits hard. He's relatively accurate as well, picks some really, really good punches across, from the outside to the inside. He's really comfortable, great shot selection. Technically, I think he is getting better as well, Jarron Ennis. I see a blue chip prospect in Jarron Ennis. Would you even call him a prospect anymore? I guess you would call him a contender. But as far as I'm concerned, he's very dangerous. A very dangerous fighter in the welterweight division, so it'll be interesting to see where Jarron Ennis goes from here. I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing Jarron Ennis fight Danny Garcia, for example. I believe both guys are from Philadelphia, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that would be a great test for Jarron Ennis, somebody like Danny Garcia. I think it makes a lot of sense. Yeah, both guys are from Philadelphia, so in that region, this would be a really, really big fight, and obviously the biggest test of Jarron Ennis' career so far. But also on the same card, actually main eventing, was a fight between Jamal, who was the WBA regular champion, and Radzhab Butaev. Now this was a really good fight, a really fun fight. It started out quite competitive in the first 2 or 3 rounds. Both guys were trading. Jamal was fighting fire with fire, like I was saying in my prediction video. He's a tall, long guy, but he basically gives up his advantages to trade. And I was saying if he does that in this fight, he will lose, because Butaev is a very compact fighter, applies great pressure, works the body very well, very dangerous at mid-range, and if you exchange with this guy, he can cause damage, and we saw that in this fight. First 3 rounds were competitive. Jamal was landing good shots, as was Butaev, but you got the sense that Butaev's shots were so much harder, especially those body shots. Some of those body shots sounded like, somebody hitting a heavy bag. You could really hear the thud when Butaev was cracking Jamal to the body. And as the fight went on, Butaev was really just, I wouldn't say ragdolling, but He was pushing around Jamal James, landing the better shots. He was getting on Jamal James's chest, working the body, working the head with the overhand right, and he was just bossing him, you know. One thing I liked about Butaev in this fight, he did a better job of throwing while on the front foot, because I've seen him fight before and he wasn't doing that as much. He would sometimes kind of wait for his opponent to be stationary, but in this fight he was actually throwing while Jamal James was moving back and he was moving forwards, and he was lunging in and catching Jamal James with some really good shots. So this was the best I've seen Butaev, actually, and I felt he performed really well. Another dangerous addition to the welterweight division. Radzhab Butaev is now the WBA regular champion. So what that means is he's in line to fight the winner of Yordenis Ugas versus Stanionis. Now, I believe Ugas beats Stanionis. I'm not that high on Stanionis, to be honest, but I've got to say, Radzhab Butaev has a great chance of beating Yordenis Ugas and becoming a real welterweight champion. You know, common opponents. Ugas also fought Jamal James, and he couldn't do what Radzhab Butaev did. Now, that's not to say Butaev beats Ugas, but I think he's got a great chance. I like that fight, actually. Butaev versus Ugas. That'll be a really good fight. But yeah, interesting welterweight card. I will say I'm pleased to see some fresh blood coming into the welterweight division. We have Vergil Ortiz and Jarron Ennis, who in my opinion look to be the goods. And even under those highly hyped guys, we have people like Radzhab Butaev, Alexander Bezbutin, even Stanionis. I'm not that high on Stanionis, but I think he can be like a lower level top 10 contender at least. So it's good to see some fresh blood coming up in the welterweight division. I think the division needs it. And yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how it all pans out in the next 12 or 18 months. But what I will say is, don't sleep on Butaev. The guy is dangerous. Another fight I'd like to see is Jarron Ennis versus Butaev. I think that's a great fight. So yeah, positive signs for the welterweight division, and we'll see what happens from here. Anyway, share your thoughts below. I actually quite enjoyed last night's card. I've just recently caught up with it now. So yeah, big up to the PBC. Decent card, great main event. I enjoyed it. Feel free to share your thoughts below. Peace.